Welcome, my people, to another episode of Exclusive Visions podcast, Love, Life, and Business, where we discuss real life and real business issues that matter. Today, we have a special guest in the studio. This guy will take you from the red to the black, and the black is positive. If you do not have any savings, he'll ensure that your bank account looks healthy. This guy is a phenomenal financial educator. Can we give a massive round of applause to Mr. Daryl Harper? That's enough. That's enough. You can cut that.
You should keep it going.
No. That's enough of all that nonsense. Like, flipping neck. Like, next time I come in, you better play it like that for me as well.
It's quiet.
All right, Daryl.
Yes,
I know you very, very well, but many people are not going to know you. So introduce yourself. Let's show the people why they need to be paying attention today with a pen and pad, and more importantly, show them, okay, you're brilliant. Go ahead.
All right, you want the story where I've come from? So background.
I didn't ask for that, but go ahead anyway.
Well, it's gonna be one of them shows, then, isn't it? It's gonna be one of them shows. Then you see what happens. Familiarity breeds contempt and all that. Backgrounds actually wasn't in financial services. My background originally is as a teacher. So I used to teach for 10 years, teaching something completely different: media, filmmaking, video production. Been doing teaching finance now for just over 12 and a half years. Sacked my boss. When I say sacked my boss, I mean sent him a picture of Alan Sugar with the words "you're fired." Emailed that to him, CC'd 600 members of staff, and left my job. And then been teaching finance now, like I said, 12 and a half years. But it's been exciting. It's been exciting and seeing so many changes, so many differences, changing people's lives. And even the other day, actually, I got a message from someone. Was it 3 years ago? I sat down with them. They messaged me on Instagram saying they've paid off all their debts and they're now in the black, and they've never been debt free they couldn't remember when they were last debt free. So it's been exciting. It's been really exciting over the last 12 and a bit years.
And I love that. You know what I love about finance as well, right? Is that when you talk about black, it's the only time I know, white people have this positive mention around it. So it's an amazing thing that you actually have been doing. And I've seen you've been doing it through this whole financial education the stuff that you've been doing for a hot minute as well. So congratulations to you and all the people that you've actually brought value to. So we're going to get straight into it, right? So why did you become a financial educator?
Do you know, I wasn't even planning. I was not planning on going into finance whatsoever. I was happily teaching media, happily changing people's lives in that industry. And I had read this book. A friend of mine, I'll give you a shorter version. A friend of mine went out to meet at a wine bar, don't drink, drinking soft drinks, playing pool, probably lost, I can't remember who won, so that means I probably lost. He said, Daryl, have you ever read this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad? I said, no, haven't read it, not interested in reading it, don't like reading books. That's literally what I said to him. He said, Daryl, but you're a teacher. I said, yeah, I teach media, I teach practical stuff. I don't do reading. I didn't even read the book for my English literature exam. Managed to get a D, which is quite impressive without reading the book, side note. But anyway, he encouraged me to buy the book. I bought the book, cut a long story short, bought the book on a Friday, started reading it on Saturday, finished reading it on Sunday, hated my job Monday morning. And there was one part in the book, loads of parts, one part in the book that really stuck out for me. I said, you spend 14,000 hours in education learning how to go and work hard for money, but people never teach you how to get money working hard for you. And just because you have the skill skills in the education doesn't guarantee that you're going to have a job or financial freedom. And at that point there, I felt like I was setting my young people up for failure. I felt like I was selling them this fake dream of get a job, get a degree, get a PhD, get a master's, and then your life is going to be set. And then I saw some other stats that were showing that 80% of university students don't even work in the subject they studied. And I was like, nah, this can't work for me anymore. So my whole kind of aura of, yes, I'm in this to change people's lives, my teaching profession, and then realizing that when I looked back and tracked back, all my students that came back to visit me, I only know that of one of them that was working in the media industry. But I'd been teaching for 10 years. Yeah, and I thought to myself, yeah, this doesn't work for me anymore. So went off into finance, hop, skipped and buckled into it, met someone, they mentored me in the financial era, and then it's been what I've been doing ever since.
What has been your biggest what would I say right now? So you helped a lot of people.
Mm.
What has been your biggest testimony story from someone who's come to you and you transformed their financial situation?
There are loads. There are loads, but I never forget one of the first ones, because it was probably one of the first ones that I did, so I never forget it. A guy that I actually met in Weatherspoons one day. We were just talking. He worked in the bar, and he said, "Oh, I think my mum and dad could benefit from what you do." So he invited me round to his house, meet his mum and dad. And then when I went through their finances, they were paying just over £2,000 a month in debt. That's what they're paying every month towards the debts. That's not even including the mortgage.
So just debt, like
Just the debts.
like give me an example, like what?
Credit cards, 9
Okay.
grand. Loans, 12 grand.
Wow.
Yeah. So all that, and so that's not including the mortgage. They had bailiff orders. The car had been repossessed. Yeah, had been taken away because it was on finance. The children were no longer in college. They dropped out of college, so because they had to work to help pay the bills. And after we finished with them, which was like 2 weeks just to get certain things set up, their monthly payments went down to £1,200 a month. That's including the mortgage and the debts. And then 5 years later, completely debt free.
No way.
And kept the house.
So literally,
and the child went. One of the children went back to his college because they didn't have to work anymore. That was it. 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, that's a round of applause moment. Stretch is not paying attention right
now. Stretch. Where's a round of applause?
All right, man. Hey, you know this guy's gonna get fired. You know? All right, so you've been as I said, you've been helping people. That's a marvelous story. But obviously, there's two sides to every story, yeah? So let me know from your personal experience for over 12 years, why do so many people fail financially?
Oh, wow. There's loads. So lack of financial literacy,
Mm-hmm.
lack of financial education, no goals, no mentor, no vision, lack of hunger.
That's a lot.
Yeah, there's probably more.
There's probably more. All right. So this is some stats, okay, but I came across when now I feel like I'm professional. I got to do a bit of research, you know, to make it look like I know what I'm doing. But when I was looking at the finances within the UK and people's households and stuff, I came across 3 interesting stats, which I just want to share with you right now. And we can take them one at a time. We see how it goes. But the first one, 230 people a day were declared insolvent or bankrupt in England or Wales in June, August 2020. So this year.
Every 6 minutes and 12 or 13 seconds or something like that, right?
Flipping heck. How did you know?
Because I know the stats.
All right. Okay.
Is that right?
It was. It's actually every 6 minutes and 16 seconds. Okay,
cool.
But he's 4 seconds off here, so don't get too much of a big head. And then the next one, 12.8 million. This is the number of households before the pandemic with either no or less than 1,500 in savings.
Yep.
That to me, I'm like, what? 12.8 million people have less than 1,500 in savings. And then 2,241. This is the average credit card debt per household in August in 2020. As I said, average credit card debt. So there's people with 10,000, 15,000 pounds credit card debt. So let's not get it twisted. This is just the average. And I'm looking at these stats and I'm thinking, why are people not in a better position to really manage their finances? So you're earning the money, you've got an education, you've been told to get a job, which you have, or you've entered in a career but you wanted to enter, but yet you are in debt even more now because for whatever reason. What is that reason would you say that people are struggling as the statistics are saying?
I think, and there's always going to be an exception to a rule. So I think there's a couple of things. I think we live in this tap culture where all we have to do is tap our card now.
Yeah.
You don't even need to put in a PIN number. And we've got this buy now, pay later culture. We have this, one of the biggest diseases in the world called IG. I'm not talking about Instagram, I'm talking about instant gratification. Yeah. So we have all of those things that happen where we live in this microwave society now where everyone just wants everything now. And they don't have that whole DNG, delayed gratification issue. So that's one of them. We've got people that are trying to keeping up with the Joneses. And the Joneses are just as broke as well. So we have that issue. Yeah. But then we also have What, you know, one of the things I find about most people, when you have a clear vision and a clear goal of what you want, it's a lot easier for you to save money. It's a lot easier. You're less likely to get into debt, because if you think about people that are going to get married, suddenly they're able to save 15, 20 grand in a very short period of time. Why? Because a year, 2 years before, they set a date of when they're going to get married. The next thing, they told a bunch of people and invited them, so they know that marriage, that wedding has to take place, or there's shame and embarrassment. And then they make whatever sacrifices and compromises they need to make sure that when the time comes, the money's there and it's the best day ever.
So that goal has to be big enough to
Big.
energize that individual to make those sacrifices, as you said.
100%. And let me touch on that sacrificing as well, because a lot of people, when they hear the word sacrifice, they think, oh, giving up. And I always say, people, no, sacrifice isn't about giving up. You need to see it differently. You need to see it as drawing closer to. You're giving up something essentially to draw closer to something else that you want, something that you really want. And when people see things from that perspective, it's a lot easier to say, do you know what? I'm not going to spend my money on this. I'm not going to spend my money here. I'm going to compromise on that because I have a bigger purpose and something else to save towards.
Okay. So touching upon that, because that's a big saying right now, right? So would you say, okay, is being financially broke in your DNA, or is it just a mindset thing?
There's a saying that I heard not too long ago, saying that being born poor isn't your fault, but dying poor is. Which means it's not a part of your DNA.
Man spitting bars right now.
That means it's not a part of your DNA. Your looks are, some of your habits and what have you are, but that's choice. Like you can change that if you're prepared. Like I think it did. Okay, I'm about to get hot. You know, the top's about to come off. Sorry.
All right.
So it's about to get real in here, right?
Jeez.
So in this day and age, and you might get less listeners now. Yeah, because I'm about to say some things, and what I say is very much like a buffet table. So take what you take, leave what you leave, eat the chicken, leave the bone. In this day and age, you have very little excuses for being broke, because a lot of it is about education and mindset, and you can get the information. Libraries are free. Okay, you can't really go to them too much right now. YouTube, watch videos. So there's information out there, but the reality is most people are too lazy to look at it. They're too lazy to.
But what if I don't know? What if like in my environment, because something we were discussing earlier, that my parents, okay, they were being broke all their life, or my surrounding, my people, that they've been broke. So this is now my environment. How do I change my mindset if this is what I know?
So first of all, I think it's about, if you have, my thing is very much, if you've got a big enough want to, you'll find the how to. If you want to change your situation enough, you'll work out and you'll find the reasons why to make it change. My thing is, you have no right to complain about your situation if you're not actively trying to change it. So that really means then your situation doesn't dissatisfy you enough for you to want to change. You've chosen to stay there because you're not dissatisfied enough. Because every goal you have comes from a place of dissatisfaction first. So the question is, are you comfortable? Because if you're comfortable, you're not going to make the changes. But if you're dissatisfied and you're dissatisfied enough, you got to do whatever you need to do to do it. So yes, you got to hang out with the right people as well.
Yeah, I do agree with everything you're saying as well, but I just wanted to add a caveat to what you also were saying. What I realized, and I think that's a fair point, what you're saying, that people have to be in that discomfort state long enough, or at a point where they just have to make that change. But I realized everybody wants to get to heaven, but no one wants to die to be able to get there. And not many people want to make that change because it's hard work. It's just like you're giving up what you know for something, okay, which you don't know that it's even going to come to pass. And I feel a lot of people give it a go and say, oh, you know what? I'm going to save £100 this month, and then bills come along or something unexpected. It's like, let me dip back into it, and you're back to square one all over again. How do people change that type of mentality where they know they can do better, they know they should be doing better, but their mentality really blocks them from making that change? How does someone really go about making that change mentally?
I'm going to ask that in a second, yeah, because I think sometimes the price of poverty is more than the price of financial freedom.
Okay, no, you definitely need to remix that and say that again. What?
Sometimes the price of poverty costs more than the price of financial freedom.
Okay, go.
Yeah, because the price of poverty is, all right, you're struggling financially, stress, depression, mental health, all of those type of things, and typically come from as a result of a lack of money, right? and then you do that for how many years of your life. But the price to get financially free, you could compromise and sacrifice 2, 3, 5, 10 years of your life to enjoy the rest of your life. That's a smaller price to pay over a longer period of time, over a short period of time, than staying broke, busted, and disgusted for 40 years, and then you retire and it's just you and a one-eyed cat and with 2 legs. Do you understand what I mean? So sometimes that price that you don't want to pay costs you more long term, because most of the things that you really want in life, most of the positive things, take work. Like losing weight, staying healthy, that's harder than eating a burger. Do you know what I mean? All those things are harder. All the things that are good for you typically are harder, but it's about how badly you want it. So back to your question now. Something my dad said a lot of things to me growing up as a child. I'll never forget something like, go to your bed before I beat you. Not that one. But he said, tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. And the other thing he said, if you're the smartest one in the room, if you're with your friends and you're the smartest one in the room, you need to go and find some new friends. You need to hang out with people that are better than you, more successful than you, that have got bigger goals and dreams than you have, and you tend to grow to that environment. And I think it's about that circle that you have around you, and being around people that just, to a certain degree, you're inferior to them because they have so much additional knowledge, and then you grow to that. You've got to be in environments that make you feel uncomfortable, so that you go, okay, I need to step up my game. I need to level up so I can be around these people. Because my thing is, like, I tell people all the time, I'm going on the Forbes list. I'm going on the Forbes list, and I don't care where I am on that Forbes list. There's about 11 black people on there, something like that. It might have gone up now, yeah, and less than 1%. And I always say to people, you can either be the best of the best of the worst, or the worst of the best. And it's as simple as that. Ideally, you want to be the best of the best. Second, you want to be kind of the worst of the best, but you never want to be the best of the worst. Yeah. So I'd rather be the brokest person on the Forbes list than the richest person in the job center. It's as simple as that. Hashtag Daryl Harper.
Yeah.
DARYL. You heard it here first.
And oh man, and that is so true as well. So you, as I said, you've been doing this whole financial education for a hot minute, right? Which group of individuals would you say that you've come across that struggles the most compared to other people, and why?
Okay, so I tell you a story first. I tell you a story first. So I was doing an event in a university last year, and half the room were from one particular culture, and the other room were from another culture. It was not planned that way, and we asked the question, and one of the questions we asked was, what conversations did you have around the dining room table about money growing up as a child? Unanimously, one half of the room said, dining room table? What dining room table? We were told that children should be seen and not heard, and don't talk with your mouth full. The other half of the room turned around and said, oh, we spoke about business and finance and investments and property and savings and all of those type of things. And you could tell which half of the room were doing better, right? It just so happened that the half that said they never had those discussions about finance were black.
Okay.
They were all black.
Wow. That's a sobering moment. All right. So if I'm in an environment that I'm not privy to these types of conversations, and what I see is what I'm going to become, right? How can them people really make a difference financially if it's been because you just said earlier, right, that you can be born poor and that's cool, but you should not die poor. But if that's what I've been taught, and I know the access to information now is more easier with Google and YouTube Versity and all these types of stuff. But if that's something which has not really been shown to me, how is someone really going to move from that, I say, that broke mindset into that, hey, I want to change my life type of mindset?
Once again, I think it's all about choice. So I don't know if I've ever told you this. So when I was brought up in Hackney. Yeah. Now when I was brought up in Hackney, Hackney weren't called Hackney. Yeah, they called it Crackney because there was so much drugs in the area, right? And I live right by, I don't know if you remember Murder Mile.
Of course,
so yeah, there you go. So that's one stretch of road. Every week someone was murdered in there, and I lived right by that. At the age of 10 years old, someone approached me and asked me to hold and sell drugs for them at the age of 10, which I never did. But my thing is, just because you're born on the wrong side of the tracks, don't mean you need to stay there. You can cross over, but at the same time, I feel like you have a responsibility to go back and help as many people as possible. But that's all choice, D. So while some people are sitting there watching the music videos and getting hype about those and wanting to live that lifestyle, I wasn't doing that. Like, I was out with my friends, but not doing anything foolish. Then grew up and said, okay, I want a different future. You know what's funny? Working in finance, it really changed my mindset because prior to COVID, when you start going around to visit people in their homes and you look in people's homes and thinking, right, how comes your toilet is bigger than my sitting room? How comes this person's living room is bigger than my entire house? And you got to act calm, like, oh yeah, I see this all the time. Your mindset starts to grow. So it's always about environment. So if you know there are people out there that are wealthy and doing well and they haven't had to, they because there's always people that have their rags to riches story, but you got to make a decision that actually you've had enough is enough, that you're drawing a line in the sand. And yes, I may not have been exposed to the good practices. I may not have had the conversations with my parents about money, but you know what? It stops now. I'm going to be the person who's going to set our family on another track. I'm going to be the person that, yes, debt isn't a bad debt isn't a part of our history anymore, and we're going to become financially free. You've got to make that decision, but you've got to be uncomfortable with your current situation. If you're not uncomfortable enough, you're not going to do it.
All right, so that person, as you said, got to make a decision, got to have a goal. How then do they find the right people to be able to change their circle, then to be able to then change their environment?
So a couple of things, so my thing is always about mentors, and the same with you, mentors and coaches, right? Yeah. Now, if you can't find one, like, do you know how many people have been mentored by that wrote books? Do you know what I mean? Like, your best friend, in my opinion, write this down. Your best friend should be Audible or a library card. Cut off Sky, but you should have a library card or Audible or at least YouTube, and you're not watching music videos. So if you can't physically find someone, there is someone who has studied a certain area and written a book on it so you can shortcut your success. No excuse.
Okay, so what book would you recommend? Give me 3 books.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Yeah, 3 financial books. You say, okay, I'm just starting now, just like you.
Yeah.
I don't read, right? Or okay, so I'm gonna touch into Audible, because Audible right now I think they do a free 30-day trial or something, or 1 free book, right? What 3 books should people start off with first?
Oh Lord. Okay. I'm gonna say.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
I'm gonna read off more then. So you got Richest Man in Babylon.
Oh my God, that's a big book.
Right. So you got that one.
That's one of my favorites.
You've got Outwitting the Devil.
Oh, I never heard that one.
Yeah, that one. Don't. If you listen to that on Audible, do not listen to it at night with the lights off. That will freak you out. Right. It's an amazing book. One of my favorites, How to Influence People.
Yep, big book.
One of my favorite books. I read every chapter 4 times before I even went on to the next chapter. You need to do that just so you know how to connect with people and how to. It's more of a leadership book, I see, but you learn a lot.
Helps you network as well.
100%. You want to get a mentor, you need to know how to network. Yeah. Another amazing book. It's got 2 names. The Wisdom of Success, or The Wisdom of Andrew Carnegie, who was the wealthiest person of his time. It's literally an interview with him and Napoleon Hill, and he's literally asking him 101 questions about what he did to become wealthy. And then you've got Think and Grow Rich, the black choice. So you got that one. Oh Lord,
by Dr. Dennis Kimbrough.
Yeah, there's loads. Other big books.
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill as well is a good one.
Yeah, 100%. But I feel like The Wisdom of Success, I think, is on another level.
Yeah, The Greatest Salesman in the World. I love that book as well. Have you read that one?
Have I read that one? Yes, I have.
Yeah, The Greatest Salesman. That one, is an amazing book. If you read The Richest Man in Babylon, then The Greatest Salesman in the World, then Think and Grow Rich, those 3 back to back, that's how I would definitely get people to start off with. No, that's some like big stuff that I like right now. All right. So apart from you, where else can people actually go to get financial support?
All right. So obviously you've got the internet, but you got to know what you're looking for.
Mhm.
You got financial advisors. You got
Financial advisors from what, the bank?
from the bank, but then typically, more often than not, you need to be in a certain income level for them to really be interested in you in this day and age. Got citizens advice. You got books. My thing is find people that have got more money than you as well. Like honestly, find if someone's got more money than you and you're doing the right things with it, they can coach you.
Yeah.
They can encourage you. They can show you what to do. Yeah, because sometimes you got to start from where you stand. So you're looking for this person who's making £1 million, but you're not even saving 10. If you've got someone that's saving £100, deal with them.
Hmm?
Oh yeah, making legitimate money.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, George.
George.
Legit,
George is whispering
legitimate money.
yeah.
Legitimate money, people. Yeah, but you don't have to watch your back.
Yeah, no, and that is cool. And you know what? Just to touch upon that as well, I know when I was working in the bank and I literally just started, I honestly felt that I was P Diddy because this is the first time in my life that I was earning decent money. Like, cause I was moving from, I was a chef before that, then I started working in the bank, so obviously the money went up. So I honestly felt that I was P Diddy. I used to walk into the shops, no word of a lie, don't even look at the price tag, and say, yeah, I want that, pay for it, walked out. I remember when I first got my very first sofa from DFS, it was like the guy looked at me and goes, do you know this is like over £3,000? I was like, I don't care. I said, and I want that marble table as well. And he goes, oh, we're not selling it. I said, you're selling it to me? And he goes, cool. And he sold me the marble table plus my first sofa. That's how I felt. I felt I was P. Diddy. But I was P. Diddy with a broke bank account, right? Because I was spending money because it was coming in. As soon as it came in, it went straight back out. So I wasn't saving nothing. And it was one of my friends who was a customer service advisor within the bank. And she went through my bank account. She goes, you know, you got no money, right, saved in your account. Like you only got like 400 and something pounds. You've been here for almost a year, and this is all you got. In my head, it's like, I don't care. I'm getting paid next month, innit? Like, so I'm back. I'm back up again. And she goes, all right, let's just sit down for an hour. Let me do a customer service review on you, and then let's see what your money can actually do for you. So stop working hard and not seeing your money, but allow your money to work hard for you. So I thought, okay, sounds good. We sat down, and I guess it goes back to what you're saying, having a mentor, having a coach, someone who's like a few steps in front of you. After she finished that hour of talking to me, I walked out just like, you know, when someone slaps reality in your face, and I thought to myself, you know what, you've been messing up big time. All right. So I made a choice to listen to what she said, and I followed exactly what she said. 9 months later, I had over £9,000 in my account. Just because I took the time to listen to someone who was further ahead in this financial game than me. Then it allowed me to then write my book, The Path to Financial Peace, because it gave me a great insight. Because people kept coming to me like, "Oh, how did you do that? Yeah. Like you got that." Like it was great for me to be able to give people that advice, and that's how the book was born. Because I was tired of people coming to me. I said, "Look, there's a book. Leave me alone." And that even now, one of my mentees from like a few years ago, she literally called me 2 days ago, and she said, "Hey, you know, I'm reading your book, The Path to Financial Peace now, and it's really helping." So it's great when you listen to people who have been where you are and worked their way out of it, and then can guide you to start making a difference. So it goes into my next question quite nicely. So why is it important? Like I was able to walk into DFS and pay for my sofas, and it was on credit. Why is it important for people to have good credit scores, especially in this day and age as well?
I think so. They say cash is king, but at the same time, credit is necessary. Yeah. So if you got good credit, you get better rates when it comes to borrowing money. Because there's nothing wrong with credit cards. It's about how you utilize them. Yeah. There's bad debt and there's smart debt. So you get better rates, you get more things that are available to you, and you're just seen as a responsible lender. So I know, for example, if I want to get a mortgage or I want to remortgage my house, I know that I have more products available to me, which means I have better rates available to me, which means it saves me money long term. Yeah, so 100%.
All right. So how does someone right now listen to you say, "Yep, that sounds marvelous, but my credit's terrible. Right now, it's dead. Like no one's gonna lend me anything." How does someone rebuild their credit in a way so a year from now, 2 years from now,
Mhm.
they're able then to look about getting a mortgage, or then they're able to start a business or do something which is going to actually bring them
Yeah.
financial security.
So I think
How do they build their credit
I
score?
think the first thing you got to go and download your credit score. Whether you're
Mm.
going on Experian, Equifax, go there and see what's actually happening, and see if you've got any defaults.
Which one's better, Experian or Equifax?
I personally use Experian.
Okay.
Yeah, and you've got three of the top ones: Experian, Equifax. Oh, the other one, it's gone out of my mind. I remember.
It's a credit score.
No. There's another one that a lot of the companies. There's three of the biggest
Mm.
ones, but Experience is got the highest ratings.
Mm.
Yeah, because you've got loads of free ones, but when you're
Yeah.
looking to get a mortgage, it's there's top three that they look at. And the good thing is when you're on there as well, they will tell you what you specifically need to do to increase your score. But first of all, you got to look and see what's happened in your history, because essentially that's what your credit score is based. Sorry, your debt score. That's what your debt score is based on. Is what what is your part? What's your history showing? Yeah, fix whatever you need to fix. If you've got defaults, if you've got unpaid loans, credit cards, do that. Make sure you're on the electoral roll, because if you're not on the electoral roll, that affects your credit score. Make sure you pay things on time, and in some cases, it's about increasing your limit so you can actually borrow more money, but you don't borrow more money, but you actually look like you can borrow more money, so then it increases your credit score. So there's loads of things, but those are a couple of things that you need to do.
Would you suggest for people to go to, like I saw today, there's organizations out there like Credit Fix who can actually help you fix your credit score. Would you suggest people to go to organizations and businesses like this?
I personally, I'm not saying not to do it. I would look on what information do you have to pay for that one.
I believe you do.
I'll go online first. Yeah, look at Equifax and see what Equifax is saying about your personal situation, because they do give you a lot of guidance on there. So loads of guidance on
But
there.
Equifax, don't you have to pay, I know Equifax does a free thing, but then don't you have to pay for the full report though?
£14 a month, something like that.
Okay.
Don't you have to pay for the other one?
Which one?
The one that you're talking
Oh,
about?
Credit Fix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could do £14 a month for 6 months. Like, you're talking about changing your life, innit? It's £14. What was that? I don't even know what that is. A couple pence a day. Yeah. Have a look and see what they're saying on it. You can even phone them and get guidance from them. And then if you need to go to these other people to fix it, then you can. There's nothing wrong with it. It's about personal choice. Me personally, I'm gonna go on Equifax first.
All right.
See what they're saying.
Yeah.
Side note, let me go back a bit. Yeah, because it's something that you said earlier. Is that all right?
Of course you can.
So for anyone who's sitting there and listening, thinking, "Wow, do I actually really need to save money?" Because you just sparked it when you're talking about you saved £9 grand, which is well done, by the way. I mean, and this would be a bit of an ouch moment for anyone who's really listening. If you've worked for 10 years of your life, and after 10 years you don't have 10 grand in your savings account, you need to go and make some more money or save money, because that essentially means you've been unable to save £1,000 a year, which means you've been unable to save 83 pence, £83 and some change a month, which means you've been unable to save £2 and I think it's like 44 pence a day. Like that, if you don't have 10 grand in savings after 10 years of work, whatever you're doing don't work. Like whatever plan you got or lack of plan isn't working. That's 10. Let me say it again. 10 years of your life of work, and we don't have 10 grand in savings. Sorry, like what you're doing isn't working. You either need to make more money, you need to save more money, you need a coach, you need a mentor, you need some guidance. You need a attitude change. Unless you just enjoy spending the money, then it's okay, and it's up to you.
And that's like, especially right now, and I think that leads on nicely.
You might have
to
a bunch of people clock off now.
I know it is that. Hey, the truth hurts sometimes.
I'm telling you.
The truth actually hurts.
I'm telling you.
And this is something which came to me today, and as I was thinking about what type of questions I'm going to be asking Daryl today, which is really going to be beneficial for the audience. We're in a pandemic right now, and if people don't know, I'm not going to say the dreaded C word, but we're in this pandemic that is happening. But we're also in a recession that people kind of forgot about. But that's not also, that's to me, a recession is a great thing if you're prepared for it. But we also have Brexit happening in the background also. So we have all these things happening all in one go that is kind of putting people on the back foot in regards to the finance, because furloughs ending, people don't know if they're going to be working. like now I think furloughs already ended,
Mm.
and even though I think they've extended it to a certain point, but there's a lot of uncertainty in the air at the moment. What can people do during these unpredictable times to really shore up their finances at this type of moment?
So it's interesting because my thing is very much prevention is better than curing it. Like it's things you should have been doing before now. But while you're in this stage, I'll send you a link actually. There's a website, I can't remember the name of it, I've got it on my phone, where you can go and you can find out all the benefits that are available to you depending on your situation. Yeah, and literally it's got all of them on this one website.
So you put in all your details and it tells you what benefits you can actually get. Yeah, definitely send me that link so we can then add it to when we're posting it out, George.
Yeah, so I'll send that to you. I can't remember them all off by heart. But I think it's also about, I mean, sometimes you just got to strip back. You got to strip back, cut back. You're in your house, you ain't traveling no more, so you're spending less money anyway. And my thing is now about finding other opportunities. Sometimes situations like this are the best things that can happen to some people because there's things they should have been doing, business ideas that they had that they never did because of fear or what have you. But now they're in a situation where actually I've been furloughed, I've been made redundant, and now can go and execute and excel in the business idea that I had for the longest time, but I've been too scared to do. So I think it's now about, my thing is always about having multiple income streams, but having multiple income streams in multiple industries. Because there are some sensible industries to be in right now. Technology is one, finance is another, toilet paper probably. So, but you know what I mean? It's about, you can't sit, yes, there's all of these things happening, but it also depends on how you've positioned yourself and the mindset you have. Because there are other people in the same situation that are making it work. Because everything you just said there is not affected me negatively at all. At all. Like, as sad as this situation is that everyone's going through, this has probably been the busiest time that I've ever had in the 12 and a half years of teaching finance.
That people now taking that initiative to say, hey, I have to do something about my finances right now.
100%. All right. So there's people that will fail in this time, and there's people that will adjust. And those people that do not adjust, like it's happened to Toys R Us, it happened to loads of the bookshops. Everyone went online, you still kept shops. Yeah, you don't adjust and adapt to what's happening, then you kind of fail, and you watch everyone else succeed.
All right. So this is nice.
Cut back, save. That's it. Cut back and save.
All right. So what is someone? Okay, no, I'm not gonna ask that question right now. So do you have any upcoming events people can actually come to and join and see and get that support that they need from you?
November the 14th, is that Saturday? I think it is November the 14th. Saturday, November the 14th. I'm doing an event called, funny enough, Path to Financial Success.
Okay.
So it's a two-hour workshop on day one, and then the following Saturday we do part two.
All right.
And that is a free event.
I was gonna say, how much does that cost? So you're doing that for free?
Yeah, the only thing it costs is time.
All right. So
the only thing you need to pay is attention.
So if you send me that link, we can then upload.
Did you see what I did there? Why did I not get a clap?
Hey, Stretch is taking notes. Leave Stretch alone. So November the 14th. What time is it?
It's going to have from 6 o'clock. And we start on time. So when we start our webinars, you need to be on at least 15 minutes early. We start bang on time, and we don't do late. And I'm going to tell you this from that. If you cannot take real talk, it's not the event for you.
I think people have seen from today that how your events are going to be. So, because these are the type of things for me personally, especially for young people, that we need to get a lot of young people really financially equipped now, early. So therefore, when they are older, they have like these things already in place. So this is like a no-brainer for them. They can get a mortgage at the age of 28 years old, or they can start their own business, or they can invest in something that they want. So all these types of all this financial support that is going on that you're doing, and literally hats off to you. This has been an amazing thing, and finance is one of those things that a lot of people struggle with. It's one of the biggest things why people break up in their relationships. It's one of the biggest things why people fall into depression, and it's a thing that people actually kill themselves over, unfortunately, because the lack of finance or having it and then losing it. So what you're doing right now is truly commendable. So the 14th of November, the path to financial success
Yep.
from 6 to
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
And that doesn't mean come somewhere between 6 to 8 o'clock. It means 6 o'clock we start, 8 o'clock we finish.
With your pen and pad, and you
Yes.
stay there. All right. So you've dropped some golden nuggets all day. It's been brilliant. So I'm gonna put you on the spot right now because you're supposed to be an expert in what you're supposed to
Don't
be
get ready,
doing,
stay ready.
right? No, don't steal my thing. Like,
Yeah.
you've been good all day. Like, leave my stuff alone.
I'll just defer it to somebody else that knows more than me. But go on.
I want you to give 5 tips that people can actually use right now, this day and age, real valuable tips that people can actually implement from today that can actually change their financial situation.
Okay. No, I may not even give you 5. I might hold on to some of them till they come to the event because then it means they
No, I want 5. I've already said 5.
All right, cool. So 5 tips that they can implement right now,
Right now.
today.
Today.
Do a budget.
Do a budget.
Do a budget. Do an inventory of what is going on with your money. Yeah, because most people have never done that. You need to treat your life like a business. You need to know, like with a business, you need to know what's coming in. You need to know what's going out. You need to treat your life the same way.
So the best way to do that is if they've got receipts or print off their bank details and go through it over after a month's period.
Yeah, just go pull off your bank statement and do a budget. Now that will give you an overview of what you think you are doing with your money. Because most people, when they look at their budget, they've actually got quite a lot of money left over. That I've sit down with people and I'm looking at their budget. You said, well, you should have £500 left over. Well, we don't see it. Yeah, of course you don't, because it's the £10 here, the £5 here, the weekly eat outs and what have you. Once you've done the budget, then you do a spending diary. You do a diary of every penny you spend for 30 days straight. Like, you've got to know what's going on with every single penny you spend.
That's what I did when I did the whole £9,000 thing. She made me literally track everything where my money was going. And one of the biggest places where
Food.
I was, yep,
Same here.
£240 at Tesco's every month. I'm in the city.
Is that it?
Yeah, I'm in the city. It was like £5, £10 every day. And it was the same. Like, what's killing me right now, right? Remember, I'm a qualified chef. And I'm buying Tesco sandwiches. Don't even know Tesco finest, you know. It's the normal, dry, butter, pro. Oh my God.
Oh, was that lunch?
Yeah, this is lunch.
Oh, right. I was doing £200 a month for lunch as well.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. I slapped myself, said, like, make your own lunch. And I'm thinking that saves me £240 just making my own lunch.
Did you have any shares in Tesco's?
No.
You didn't need to be spending all your money there.
All right, so we got
2. All right.
Okay, so the first one was the budget. Second one, spending diary.
Spending diary. I'm trying to not give stuff that I'm going to do at the event as well. Get into the habit of saving. So even if my thing is always save a minimum of 10% of your income. But even if you can't do that, start with something. The habit is more important than the amount initially. So even if that's £5 a month, £10 a month, bloody £1 a month, do something to build that habit. Yeah, to do it. After that, I'd be looking at other ways of making an income. Yeah, I think that the reality is going to hit everyone at some point that you need to have multiple income streams. That's either going to hit you now while you've got the time to make the changes, or it's going to hit you later when it's too late. Yeah. And then the last one, this one's difficult because it's either the vision or the mentor. Let me just put both of them in there. You got to sit down and you got to really have a burning desire of what it is that you really want for your life. What is the lifestyle that you want? You got to remove all the limits and say, in 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you have to say, this is what I want my life to look like. But at the same time, my thing is always, sometimes you've got to project future pain into your current circumstance. Because if you project future pain and think, right, if I don't change now, that's what my life is going to look like. And if you pretend that you can feel it now, then you typically make the changes sooner rather than later. Then you definitely got to find someone to mentor you. As long as they're one step ahead, they can lead you.
And I think, thank you for that extra bonus one, because if he wasn't, I was definitely going to drop that. Having a mentor is so critical. Hence why I started the tribe, Exclusive Visions Tribe. And this is one of the things which you're in there. You support people with their whole finances as well, because I refuse. I said it today on a webinar. I refuse to die knowing I didn't leave a legacy within this world. Refuse. So I was on this webinar today with Southwark Lambeth Lewisham, and I literally threw it out there. I said to people, look, I'm telling you, on my gravestone, this is how it's going to read. Dean Williams, the king of entrepreneurship, raised the bar of what the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey did. And then he helped to raise future generations. That's what's going to be on my gravestones. I refuse to be here on this earth and not make a massive difference while I'm here. It's ridiculous.
What's the point?
It's like, how can you live a life? Like, do you know, right, how hard it was for you to be here? The statistics, 4.2 trillion in one for you to be here, right? Think about it. This is getting a bit graphic here. Imagine if your great 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 grandmother decided to go and cook fried dumplings instead of making love to your great 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 granddad. Just imagine, like, you wouldn't be here right now. So imagine everything what had to have happened for you to be here, and yet you're not taking it serious.
And that's just a touch on that. So out of the million plus, you were the one that won. So you were already born.
Sperm's fine.
Can I say it on the show?
You can sperm.
Out of the million plus sperm,
It's scientific.
You were the one. You were the chosen one. You were the one that got there. So you technically were born a champion. So don't die a loser.
Oof. Man, dropping bars. Dropping bars.
Why are we not clapping?
Hey, Stretch is taking notes, man. Stretch, you keep taking your notes, Stretch. Yeah. So I think that is so true, and I'm gonna, like, you know what? People say, "Oh, you're a big man. What are you watching cartoons for?" I watch cartoons all day, every day, yeah, because sometimes they have some bangers, right? And like Kung Fu Panda, Master Yugwe, and I always say this to especially my mentees, right? That yesterday is history, okay? Tomorrow's a mystery, and today is the present. That's why it's a gift. And this is what we have right now as individuals, to learn from the past, look forward to the future, but be present today. And this, for me personally, is why myself, George, Stretch, we're doing what we're doing, because we're looking to change lives. We're not speaking about it and pretending. And I say all the time, when I went to Stretch and I said, Stretch, I'm starting a podcast, I'm going to change life, his next sentence was, how can I be part of it? And I love that. And I absolutely love, like, everyone knows how much I love my George, yeah? I'm not going to keep saying it every single show, because even George is like, please allow it. No, I love my George all the time. He's been there, he stays there. But it's important to surround yourself with great people who are, as you said, is going to help you with your vision. If it's a mentor, if it's a new people, new environment. And that's so important. All right, go ahead.
Sorry, there's something else that came to my mind as you said that. Sorry.
What?
He's going to stretch you. Yes, he are. I gave you another one.
Hey, I haven't got a Stretch has got a control panel. Yeah, he's supposed to, like, it's really quick today.
But I think the other thing I forgot to say, which I think is so important, you have to take 100% responsibility for where you are.
100%. Oh,
100% responsibility. Because the moment you pass blame onto somebody else, you have now become on the effect of something as opposed to the cause. The moment you pass blame, you put yourself in a position of weakness instead of a position of power. When people hear the word responsibility, they think blame or what have you. When you break down the word responsibility, it means you have the ability to respond. So that means you have the ability to change your circumstances and your situation. So yes, there are things that happened in your past, and you said you go back to your past to learn from it. But I think the only reason you look at your past is to see how far you've come. Do you know what I mean? See how far you have come, learn from it, as you said, and then you just make changes. You don't. Your past ain't there for you to live in. Oh, it's because of my mum, it's because of my dad, it's because of my teacher. Yeah, all those things may be true, but you are a big person now. My thing is, and I said this to some people I was mentoring the other day, get over it. I know that's easier to say than to do, but honestly, get over it, because if you're still living in that situation and that circumstance, nothing's changing. So you can't change it. Why complain about it? Nothing is, get over it and then make a decision what you want your life to look like.
I say the same thing as well. As harsh as it sounds, it's like, all right, Get to the point where you could be comfortable to complain about the things, okay, that you can't change. But until you're at that point, put in the work. And for myself personally, I live by that. I said, you know what? I'm a miserable guy, but I'm gonna be miserable when I'm a millionaire, and then complain about all the stuff, okay, but I should have happened and but didn't happen. But let me shut my mouth now, put in the work, become a millionaire. Then I complain. Like I could afford it. All right. So how can people get hold of you right now?
So go onto the website, Daryl Harper, www.darylharper.com. Daryl spelled Daryl, so Daryl. DarylHarper.com, Harper Harper. If you go on the site, you can request to get information about the next event, and we'll get you registered for the event. So www.darylharper.com. Don't email me. Can't stand emails. Yeah, it's a waste of time.
And don't WhatsApp him either because he don't get back to you.
Can't stand WhatsApp. I'm too busy changing lives, man. Like, I'm gonna pick up the phone and call me type of person, but I ain't giving out my number, so you can go on the website. Come to the event, then you get access to the phone number.
All right. So, Daryl, thank you so much for coming in to the podcast. What is that?
Time out. It was your birthday the other day.
Oh, thank you.
I know you like Ferrero Rochers.
Jeez.
But I know you can't eat them till Sunday. But also because I know you like 1 in a million.
Another one. This is like my 6th one. Thank you
birthday.
so much,
No
G.
problem, man.
I appreciate that.
Be a giver. More blessed to give than to receive.
Hey, this is why I feel loved by so many different people. But thank you so much for the gifts. Thank you for everything that you have done today. I know you definitely dropped some golden nuggets. This is why we do what we're doing, is that we want to inspire other people to be better, to help people be more authentic, to help to live a better, more rich life. So can we give Daryl one more round of applause, please? All right. So on that note, thank you for everybody who's watching this live. Thank you for everybody who's going to be watching the recording. Please like, leave a comment. What else do they need to do, George? Share, all that stuff. Ring the bell, everything. Just do everything, people, and I'll be very, very happy. I have chickens now. I need to feed them. So YouTubers should be paying me in the next few years. So this is everything what we're building towards. But thank you. And always remember, stay true, stay humble, and bless.